The leadership of the National Civil Society Council had a very thorough interface with the top management of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, calling for relevant book of accounts while critical questions were asked. Our findings: the tedious and non-manipulated mission revealed that as at 2020, NNPC Limited was not yet in existence. As at that time in question, NNPC was the establishment in existence and NAPINS was in charge of the business house. NNPC Limited was just incorporated in September 2021 and formally unveiled on July 19, 2022. The management of NNPC Limited presented to us the original or dictated account of NNPC, which was found free of any verifiable fraud. NAPINS is now scrapped, and prior to transition from NNPC to NNPC Limited, proper stock taking and audits was conducted and made public. Hence, the alleged missing fund is unfounded and unsubstantial even in the said AGL report. We can boldly assert that the missing fund does not exist in the book and record unless there are other documents except the audited records for 2020 that was available to us. Acquisition number 2, acquisition of misappropriation of income from crude sales and related transactions. From the inquiry and diligent findings of the National Civil Society Council of Nigeria, it is discovered that under the present administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR and new dispensations of the NNPC Limited, payment for oil transactions are made directly to the central bank. Hence, the company is responsible for operational and administrative activities of crude oil transactions, while the CBN handles the financial ends. Hence, CBN does not see or manage crude oil, while NNPCL on their own side does not see or handle cash, therefore making it almost impossible for the NNPC Limited to misappropriate what it does not manage in the first instance. The record of oil sales and purchase are clearly recorded and accounted for by the CBN record. With the aforestated findings and discoveries on the major allegations brought before the Council and leveled against the NNPC Limited, the National Civil Society Council of Nigeria, as the conscience of the citizens, voice of the masses, and advocate of the people, hereby state as follows. 1. That the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited is a totally different entity in structure, in operation, in philosophy from the default Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation. 2. That despite the fact that no public institution in Nigeria today can be absolutely exonerated or given a 100% clean bill of health forensically in terms of corruption and bad eggs, yet we make bold to assert without fear of contradiction or condemnation that almost all the allegations leveled against the management of the NNPC Limited so far are unfounded and misrepresentations of facts and figures going by verifiable evidence before the Council. 3. That the Council perceived a deliberate plot in some quarters that are both politically and economically motivated to frustrate the ongoing reform in the petroleum industry in Nigeria and transformation in the NNPC Limited. Some of these distractors are internal force of economic saboteur, while others are high-level international business actors that have either taken undue advantage of the country, previous weak law, and naive policies in the petroleum industry. 4. That some mischief makers, especially within the media sector and civil society community, have taken advantage of the negative past records and maladministration in the defunct Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation to continuously smear the image and blackmail the current management of the NNPC Limited. That is determined to salvage our petroleum industry. These distractors and saboteurs probably have the ultimate aim of casting aspersions at the government led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR. In conclusion, the leadership of the National Civil Society Council of Nigeria sympathize with the management of the NNPC Limited on their unenviable and Herculean task of reforming and rebranding a battered organizational image of the former NNPC to a desirous and acceptable bride, which is worsened by cleverly articulated conspiracy aimed at discrediting the federal government and arousing contempt against the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Hence, the Civil Society Council used this medium to commend our members, especially those that draw attention to the development and those that lodge different complaints on this matter. The Council enjoined the management of the rebuilt and reformed NNPC Limited to see itself as a sacred cow and lifeline for the economic survival of the nation, and trustees of the commonwealth of the people, and not a conduit pie of looting for any group of business baron, political actors, or partisan stakeholders. NNPC Limited must work assiduously to purge itself of any corrupt tendency and bad acts, thus living above board at all times. If the system is now truly rebirthed, as we believe it to be, then transparency and accountability must be sustained as hallmark without compromise at any time. For now, National Civil Society Council of Nigeria could not verify the allegations of corruption against management of the NNPC Limited, therefore hereby officially exonerate the organizations of the allegation brought before us so far.
Records available to us and the discussions we've had did not in any way indict him. And I think he was so bold enough and confident to surrender all these documents to us so that we'll go and verify it, so that if he is found wanting anywhere, we should also use this opportunity or this medium to tell the whole world where he is wrong. And from our verification of the documents available to us, he is not found wanting anywhere. And I think that is why the new management of the company deemed it necessary that he should spearhead the new company in the furtherance of the activities of the NNPCL.
Recently, NNPC, or the real name NNPCL, has been attacked for making comments. Something another would say, you are using, right? You did actually know that comment was not by NNPCL. The comment was made by the director of NNPCL, the former PPRA, which is an entity on its own, different from NNPC. But what are we reading on the media? NNPC is condemned, Dangote refinery. Meanwhile, NNPC is a shareholder in that same refinery, making it near impossible or investment-wise foolish for NNPC to condemn the refinery. But what do we report? NNPC. It was not comment by NNPC. It was comment from NNPCL. Now, back to this point now. This allegation centered around investment. During the existence of NNPC Corporation, there is another agency that was solely saddled with the responsibility of investment and they are called NAPINS, National Investment Petroleum NAPINS. So, if actually this fraud exists and it is situated around investment, the right person to answer the question would be NAPINS, not even NNPC. Now, by getting from NNPC to NNPC, you now see how many is exonerated. And if we must see trace it, of course I was part of the transaction. And I made it clear that we will be happy to to continue the cases if it never exists. But to all the available evidences, books, record, and make the record to is clearly out of the stock of NNPCL. It's not undertaken.
This fundamental question as here has to do with for the leadership, current leadership of the NNPC, the person of Marikai, why it's still big. I want to lay just a little background for you. You know, there has been a transition of former corporation to what it is today, NNPC. NNPCL, as it is today, is a registered company with corporate affairs. It's a CAMA entity, as it is today. And that transition has moved from being in public to now a private company. And in doing that, a lot of competence, capacity, understanding of how the sector is being operated, because whether we like it or yes, even though being a private company, it is still owned by government, because the ownership is by Ministry of Finance Incorporated and Ministry of Finance Incorporated, so it's owned by government. So that was why Marikai was transited from that commission now. Secondly, in the former NNPC corporation, there is what we call NPDC. That is the upstream arm that deals. There is what we call NAPINS. That deals with investments. There is what we call NNPC, which is like the parent company. Each of these sectors have their strength defined by the then former about 16 to 17 legislature guiding the oil and gas sector. So most of these things, there is a lot of confusion. There are borders on issues, there are borders on NAPINS. People transfer it straight to NNPC, like Malikari and others. I think that is where the confusion lies. So it is a totally different entity. This entity today is strictly linked to extractive industry transparency international. You are aware we are even gone far to domicile ourselves as native. And by that, it is an international rating agencies that guide transparency in the issue of oil and gas in Nigeria and globally. And I think the record from native shows clearly that NNPC has shown considerable transparency in NAPINS, even on that time. And if you want to look, formerly one of the biggest problems of NNPC has been the opacity operated in the NNPC before Kari came. But recall, from 2019 to 2020, for the first time in the history of NNPC audited report was shown to the public. That is out in the media. The media can go and verify that for the first time under Marikai. Subsequently, NNPC have also moved from there from 2020, 2021 to have recorded for the first time in 44 years. After year 2020, for the first time, they registered about 247 billion as profit in the history. It has never been done since the 44 years of its existence. That is still under carry. And subsequently, they have shown 600 and something billion in subsequent year 2021, and now about 2022-2023, they registered about something I have there about 2.52 trillion between 2022 and 2023, and their accounts are duly audited. So I think these are the conclusions, and I know a lot of people want to know what is going on in NNPC because it is the energy company of last resort according to the law. So a lot of persons want to know what is going on there. And so the bandit figures has become the characteristic. And I think there is a big confusion between understanding the former corporation and what it is today with NNPCL, which is a corporation. I think that is the big demarcation I try to bring.